Hello, nice to have you join us on the news at 5. I'm Dominic Iwiwu. As the working visit of President Bola Tinubu to the United Kingdom continues on day 2, a high-level meeting was held between President Bola Tinubu and Sir Keir Starmer. President Bola Tinubu was welcomed at the ever-familiar door of 10 Downing Street as conversations about the meeting between both leaders will revolve around bilateral discussions and is expected to culminate in the signing of various memoranda of understanding and agreements, which is included but not limited to trade, investment, defense, and cultural cooperations. In addition, the president has supervised the signing of a deal between the UK Export Finance and the Nigerian Ports Authority and Ministry of Finance aimed at refurbishing the Lagos Port Complex and the Tinkan Island Port Complex. Now, as part of highlights of the First State visit to the United Kingdom, Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, preached a message of unity and faith today at Lambeth Palace. Lambeth Palace is the seat of the Archbishop of Canterbury. Mrs. Tinubu interacted with religious leaders, representatives of the Church of England, including the Bishop of Dover, Bishop Rose Hudson Wilkin, and Acting Bishop of London, Bishop Emma Innocent. She told the congregation to listen to others and to try and get the good out of people, irrespective of religion. She also shared her personal experiences, her public service experience, including her daily spiritual practice during her bouts with COVID-19. Last night, President Bola Tinubu, First Lady Senator Remi Tinubu, King Charles III, and Queen Camilla, along with various Nigerian dignitaries, were treated to a delightful dinner during the state banquet in honor of the Nigerian delegation and the President at St. James's Palace in London. Speaking, King Charles assured that the meal, including the jollof rice, was the best and he enjoyed all to savor the lavish meals. King Charles III also spoke about young Nigerians who are flourishing in the UK in different fields.
Business. We in the United Kingdom are blessed that so many people of Nigerian heritage, having chosen Britain as their home, are now at the heart of British life through excelling at the highest levels of business, technology, academia, law, science, sport, literature and the arts. I have met so many of these quiet heroes in our schools, businesses, National Health Service and universities, including countless young people who have flourished through the work of my King's Trust over the last 50 years. Only last week, I was delighted to host a rather lively group of them for a jollof and tea party at St. James's Palace. I was firmly assured that the jollof was only the best, Nigerian, of course.
President Bola Tinubu has witnessed the signing of a £746 million financing agreement in London between Nigeria's Ministry of Finance, led by Wale Edun, and Citibank to modernize Apapa and Tinkan Island ports in Lagos. The deal is aimed at easing congestion, improving efficiency, and strengthening Nigeria's trade capacity. The Nigerian Sovereign Investment Authority, NSIA, has signed a $496 million memorandum of understanding with a UK-based company to develop a landmark integrated dairy, livestock production and processing platform in the country. A statement by the British High Commission says the initiative, which was signed in London on the eve of a state visit, represents one of the largest single investments in Nigeria's dairy industry, combining 20,000 hectares of climate-smart crop and forage production with a 10,000 milking cow operation and state-of-the-art processing plant. The facility is designed to produce fresh milk, milk powders, butter, cream, and up to 15,000 metric tons of infant formula annually. The platform is expected to generate over $620 million annually and create 2,500 direct and 5,000 indirect jobs across the country once it becomes operational. And still with Nigeria's relationship with the United Kingdom, expectations are rising higher for more positive outcome of President Bola Tinubu's state visit to the UK as more deals are being signed between both countries. The Director General of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mrs. Chinyere Alomna, who was a guest on our Business Morning program, listed some of the expectations that the historic visit would bring for Nigeria, besides the £746 million agreement signed to help upgrade the country's port facilities.
The issue of port challenges have been one of the bottlenecks for manufacturers because there's a long, drawn-out time for your cargo to be in the port, the problems, the cost associated with it. With this modernization project, we want to see that that cost is eliminated. So cost of doing business hopefully should drop, and that should translate to the common man in terms of how we do business. Also, for manufacturers, there will be ease of bringing in, let's say, raw materials for their production facility. So these are some of the things that we want to see. But beyond that, this visit also provides some qualitative benefits, right? So for one, it helps us to see, can help us catalyze increased FDI, because with what, like he has rightly said, and I've been watching the proceedings, there's increased trust, there's increased, people are more likely to think, oh, so Nigeria is open for business, you know, we can trust Nigeria. And so there's higher kind of confidence in our reform trajectory, in what we are doing in Nigeria. And that confidence then can, you know, be tied into increased FDI flows. I also believe that this provides a platform for Nigerian businesses to be able to explore how do we integrate effectively into regional and global value chains.
Now, at least 3 police officers have been shot dead by gunmen suspected to be bandits in Tor Damisa community of Donga local government area of Taraba State. A 60-year-old chairman of the vigilante group in Tordimasi village was also shot dead by the bandits. The incident was confirmed via a press statement issued by the acting police public relations officer, Taraba State Police Command, ASP Victor Micheliza. According to the statement, the operation followed a distress report from Zaki Orbanga, a resident of Tordamisa Akate ward, who reported that armed men suspected to be bandits had attacked Sekwe village. Upon receipt of the information, a team of police officers led by the divisional police officer of Donga alongside operatives of the special force were immediately mobilized and deployed to the scene to restore order and protect residents. On arrival at the location, the suspected armed bandits opened fire on the police team, resulting in a fierce exchange of gunfire. The police operatives responded swiftly and repelled the attackers. Regrettably, during the encounter, CPL Raphael Danjuma and PC Ebenezer Daniel sustained fatal gunshot wounds in the line of duty. Another officer, PC Samuel Bawa, was initially reported missing during the operation. A search party was subsequently organized and his body was later recovered in a nearby bush. Additionally, the corpse of Nutsa Tsiyav, a 60-year-old chairman of the vigilante group in Toradamisa village, was also recovered following the attack. The Commissioner of Police, CP Betty Enekben, has expressed a deep sorrow over the loss of the brave officers and the vigilante member who paid the supreme price while protecting the state and nation at large. The command extends its heartfelt condolences to the families of the deceased and assures them that their sacrifice will not be forgotten. Meanwhile, security operations have been intensified in the areas. Efforts are ongoing to track down and apprehend the perpetrators of this heinous attack. The command urges members of the public to remain calm and continue to cooperate with security agencies by providing timely and credible information that will assist in bringing the culprits to justice. Now, as political activities towards the 2027 general election gain momentum, 20 of the 26 members of the Ogun State House of Assembly under the Progressives lawmakers have thrown their weight behind the re-election of President Bola Tinubu come 2027. At the press conference in Abeokuta, the state capital, the progressive lawmakers also endorsed the senator representing Ogun West Senatorial District, Solomon Olamileko Adeolu, as the governorship candidate of the party and the senatorial ambition of the Ogun State Governor, Dr. Abiodun. They said this has become imperative to ensure the continuity of the ongoing reforms in the critical sectors of the nation's economy, which has started yielding positive results and a promising life more abundance for the people. Now, passenger traffic at the airport today remains steady, with no unusual surge typically associated with festive periods. Meanwhile, passengers at the airport have expressed mixed reactions to the enforcement of extra luggage charges, with some describing the policy as necessary, while others see it as an added burden on travelers.
I'm entitled to 20, but I'm carrying 47. So the other remaining 27. They have to say, they told me that the one is 1,001 kg. So I feel it's bad because not everybody can afford it. If I can afford it, what of the next person? So, and those things inside the bag, inside the luggage, is something you will need at maybe where I go in.
1,000 naira per kilo. I think it's fair. I got my ticket for like 90 something, 95 or 96 airpiece, which I think is fair. It's a bit fair.
Ahead of the Salah celebration, the Lagos State Police Command is strengthening security to ensure hitch-free festivity and ultimately the safety of all. Speaking exclusively with Channels Television, the Commissioner of Police, Lagos State, Olorundare Jimoh, explained that all officers and men, including in plainclothes personnel, have been deployed to secure residents.
We have done an operation order to ensure that we cover all places of worship with enough deployment of police personnel and police equipment to ensure that people celebrate in peace. We've started the preparation ahead of time to ensure that we conform to its directive in ensuring that we deploy massively to places of worship where the Muslim faith will be having prayers, places of celebration after prayer, for which they are going to draw in down to celebrate with their family and friends. And we are equally mindful of the fact that people will be coming across the country into Lagos and equally across the world into Lagos to celebrate the festivity with their families and friends. We draw this operation order on times. We have gone through it severally, and today we have met on it to practically put touch on ground to ensure that the divisional police officer and area commander conform with what the IGP have directed. Outside this is the fact that we are engaging in what we call the convoy patrol at the area command level. This has started from even before December last year, and we have carried it into this new year, into this festivity. This convoy patrols at the area command level within all the divisions within the area command to equally beef up security in those areas and give confidence and trust and assurance to the members of the public generality of the Muslim faith would have been celebrating. So we want them to come out and celebrate and know that Lagos is safe.
River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara says his administration is intensifying efforts to improve road connectivity to the state's major gas hub with the near completion of the 33.5-kilometer Elele Egbenma Omoku Road project. The governor made this known on Wednesday after inspecting the dual carriageway project, which includes a bridge. He noted that about 90% of the work has been completed, expressing confidence that the project will be delivered by April. According to him, the road will enhance security across the three interconnected local government areas it traverses and stimulate economic growth, particularly in Ogba, Egbema, Ndoni local government area, an oil-producing area with significant stakes in gas production.
We are here to see what our contractor handling the Elele, Mowa, Agbebe Mandoni section of what you call the Ekri Road is doing. And if you notice, when we came in, I had to do a complete drive to the end to see the stretch of work that is being done. From my own assessment, I can say that about 90% of the job is already done, and what is remaining from our discussion here will be delivered before the end of April. I feel very happy because this is one of those projects that is not just a project but a signature on our administration. It's a road, or will I say a corridor, that connects three local governments, Ikwere, Emowa, and Ogbebe Mandoni. And if you understand the importance of this road, it leads to the gas city, which is Omok. So economically, it's a viable road. Security-wise, for those of you that have been doing business and live in Port Harcourt and in River State, you know that this particular road used to be a very death trap. Kidnap activity and other sorts of evil were done along this corridor. But I think with what we have done here today, those stories will be old stories.
Staying in River State, the Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC, through the Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprises Niger Delta Life ND project, has empowered a total of 1,108 rural youths and women in the state with working capital to start their agri-businesses. At the empowerment flag-off held in Port Harcourt, the youths and women who are part of the second and third batch beneficiaries of the Rural Poverty Alleviation Program commended the NDDC and other sponsors for improving their lives.
It's the disbursement of empowerment support to 1,108 youths in River State under Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprises Niger Delta program, sponsored by the Niger Delta Development Commission with support from the federal government and the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD. At the empowerment flag-off in Port Harcourt for the second and third batch, officials of the NDDC, IFAD, State Ministry of Agriculture, and the Life ND and beneficiaries who have been trained in various agricultural value chains.
This event formally launches the empowerment support for improvements across various agricultural value chains, namely cassava, plantain, poultry, and aquaculture. It also provides an opportunity to showcase the progress and achievement of the project.
The National Project Coordinator, Ms. Abiodun Sani, commends the sponsors of the program, saying the project's objective of empowering rural youths and women is making great impact.
Today marks another significant milestone in our collective efforts to empower our rural youth and women through sustainable agribusiness development.
For the NDDC, the success of the project in the region has strengthened its resolve to support and fund programs that empower residents of the region, strengthen rural economies, and promote sustainable development.
So our beneficiaries are urged to utilize this fund prudently and for its intended purpose. Apply the knowledge and training you have received, remain disciplined and focused, and commit yourself to building sustainable and profitable enterprises. Your success will not only transform your lives, but will also contribute meaningfully to food security, job creation, and overall community development. I urge you to be a good ambassador.
The beneficiaries are then handed working capital.
I was jobless. I hadn't any job to do before now. Today, I can be proud and beat my chest that Life ND has given me an opportunity to be a CEO in this family.
Since the commencement of the full-scale implementation of Life ND project in September 2024, a total of 1,562 beneficiaries from 10 local government areas across the 3 senatorial districts of River State have been trained and empowered.
And on business news, Nigeria's balance of payments surplus fell to $4.23 billion last year, down from $6.83 billion in 2024, and this is according to the latest report by the central bank. The data from the CBN also shows that the country's overall balance of payments surplus fell to $2.67 billion in Q4 2025 compared to $4.6 billion in the preceding quarter of last year. Similarly, the CBN data indicates that the country's current account surplus declined sharply by 65.52% to $1.4 billion in the fourth quarter of last year, down from $4.06 billion recorded in the third quarter. The development highlights increasing strain on Nigeria's external sector, driven by declining export earnings and rising import demand. Gold and silver joined a broad sell-off on the metals market today as fears about the Iran war and inflation gripped global markets. The price of spot gold was down nearly 5% to just over $4,600 an ounce, while front-month gold futures dipped by 5.8% to $4,612. For spot silver, it was 9.5% lower at $68.22 an ounce, while silver futures lost 12% to settle at $68.31. The moves in gold and silver come amid broader risk-off sentiment, which has seen global equities and government bonds fall at the same time. Investors are monitoring the ongoing conflict in the Middle East as it heads towards its third week and fueled concerns about an energy shock that will add inflationary pressure at economies across the globe. And outside our shores in business, the Bank of England voted 7 against 2 to keep the benchmark interest rate at 3.75% for the second straight time to counter a pickup in inflation driven by the conflict in the Middle East. Similarly, the European Central Bank announced on Thursday that it left key rates unchanged as expected for the 6th consecutive time. With the decision, the interest rate on the ECB's main refinancing operations, the interest rates on the marginal lending facility and the deposit facility stand at 2.15% and 2.4% and 2% respectively. Elsewhere in Asia, the Bank of Japan has held its key interest rate steady at 0.75%, marking second pause after December hike to 30-year high. Meanwhile, China's central bank is expected to keep benchmark lending rates steady for the 10th consecutive month in March on Friday. And that's it on business news and the news at 5. I'm Dominic Iwiwo. Up next is The World Today.